Greetings to everybody out there in the NoDQ galaxy. Welcome to NoDQ Live here on NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel, youtube.com/AaronRift NoDQ. We had WWE Evolution take place tonight. The event has now concluded, so I am here to give my thoughts on the show. Overall, I enjoyed it. I thought Evolution was a success. I thought it was an enjoyable pay-per-view from start to finish. And we already have drama in the chat room, so here we go. I would like to congratulate Big G for winning the predictions contest. He was victorious over the rest of Team NoDQ, hashtag Team NoDQ. Mike B says I'm no longer mirrored. Really? Holy crap, I'm not mirrored anymore? That's awesome. Finally, I can actually wear t-shirts that have letters on it. You're serious. Guys, I'm not mirrored. Somebody confirm this with me. If he's trolling me, I'm booting him from the group, by the way. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the pay-per-view. I like the way the pay-per-view started, where we had a musical performance. Well, actually, before we get to that, everyone's saying I'm not mirrored, so rock on. Finally. It only took YouTube like 7 or 8 months to finally fix this. Whew. It's about time, YouTube. It's about time. But yeah, the pay-per-view actually kicked off with Michael Cole, and he was having issues with his mic. Too bad we did not have this for the entire pay-per-view where Michael Cole's mic just kept going out. Actually, if anybody's mic should have gone out, it should have been Renee Young. I mean, I like Renee Young, and I think she does do a great job, but somebody needs to tell her to stop with the O's. It's like, oh, oh, oh. Every time she does a reaction to a move, it's, oh. It needs to stop. Can somebody like Triple H just nicely pull her aside and say, don't do O anymore? When you react to a move, actually react to it by using words. I think it's constructive feedback. I think she can say something else. I'm just tired of the O's. No more O's from Renee Young, please. Cindy with the first Super Chat donation of the night from hashtag Team NoDQ. And she came in second, by the way. She says, cannot stay long, but I must say this pay-per-view made my expectations. Proud to be a part of history. And she said more later, because Cindy, Caitlin, and Aaron, not me, but the other Aaron, they're going off, and I believe we're going to have a fourth person. They're going off to record their review video, which should be going up tomorrow. So if you guys are interested in checking that out, that should be up on the channel tomorrow morning. But anyways, back to the pay-per-view. So after Michael Cole's whole little debacle, they had a video package, which was nicely done, of course. And then we had, although I will say with the video package, of course, having to hear Stephanie's voice takes away from the whole feel of it, in my opinion. But I will say this, at least we did not have to hear Stephanie's music on this show. No Stephanie promo in the ring. That made me happy. There was one appearance by Stephanie, but it was just brief, and I'll get to that later. So Stephen Osborne just left a $2 Super Chat donation. He says, Renee's just experiencing the show like we do. Yeah, but she's supposed to be a professional commentator. It's one thing if you're watching Backyard Wrestling and everybody goes, oh, oh, to react to every move. But when you're supposed to be this broadcaster with a college degree, I don't know. I just think it's, I find it personally to be low rent, but that's just my opinion. Aaron Joel with a $2 Super Chat donation. Pay-per-view was a B that Bailey made was a love story. Okay. Well, thank you for that, Aaron Joel. I do appreciate it. We had Lizzie Hale of Hailstorm. Good band, by the way. I do like them. And Nita Strauss, who was playing on guitar. The two of them performed a song. I think it's called Evolution. I'm going to take a wild guess and say it's called Evolution. They did the song. That was cool. I liked it. I thought it was a nice touch. This show did have a little bit of a Triple H feel to it, and I wonder if it was Triple H that had more of an influence on it than Vince. Of course, it's said that Vince has the final say on everything, but it did feel more like Triple H of an influence than your usual WWE pay-per-views. You had the opening music performance, and during the matches, the lights were turned down, which is very old school, and we see that on the NXT pay-per-views. Definitely had a little bit more of a Triple H vibe to it than a Vince McMahon vibe. Although, for the later matches, we definitely had some sports entertainment segments. And Malcolm says, what did you think of Beth's commentary? I thought she did a good job, and as much as I like Renee Young, I actually thought that Beth did a better job. So maybe Beth Phoenix should be commentating on Monday Night Raw. I thought she did well. I didn't really have a problem with her at all. Michael Cole was Michael Cole. I mean, at one point, he said that the women were men. He said both men are down. But when he's calling tons of male matches throughout his 20-plus year career, I guess that's bound to happen. And pretty much everyone in the chat room agrees with me about Beth Phoenix. So there you go. All right, so the first match was Trish Stratus and Lita, the Attitude Era Superstars, against Alexa Bliss. Well, not Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss was injured, reportedly a concussion. She came out, she cut a little promo, and Josh Gutner with a $15 Super Chat donation saying, "No DQ rocks." Well, thank you very much for that, Josh. I really do appreciate it. That is awesome, and feel free to leave a question or a comment. I'll try to read that off for you. Kayfabe Candy Ass is in the chat room. He says, Lita was so hot here, what a babe. What is your rating for her on a scale of 10 goth babes, Kayfabe? Just wondering. But yeah, let's talk about the match. So Alexa Bliss did her promo and she introduced Mickey and Alicia. It was just a basic match. What happened here? Well, that was annoying. So I'm doing a video here and Apple decided they have to remind me about their software update. Why now, Apple? I click no every single day. Get with the times, Apple. When I click no every day, it means I'm not interested. I'll do it when I feel like it. You guys are smart enough by this point. You know pretty much everything about me. I open my Maps app and you guys know exactly where I plan on going because you have my routine stored up in your database. So, you suck, Apple. Get the hint. Don't want your stupid software update. Daryl Lloyd with a $7 Super Chat donation. He says, great show. Felt like an NXT show. No Stephanie taking all the credit. Hats off to the women. Very good comment there from Daryl Lloyd. I appreciate that. Marcos Levy 13 says, this House Hardy Halloween is 100 times better than Evolution. What House Hardy? I have no idea what you're talking about. The only thing that's on right now in the world right now is NoDQ Live, so I have no idea what you're talking about. Johnch11 says Apple sucks, but iPhone and Mac has an iPhone and Mac, haha. That is true. You were right about that. So, regarding the match, I thought it was fine. Crowd was obviously very much into Trish and Lita. Trish even got in a Hurricane Rana on Mickey, which was a cool spot. Alexa was out there trying to help out. She tried to get them to leave at one point when things were going south. Alexa would keep interfering. It was a little sloppy at times. And then there was one really significant botch in this match where Trish hit the Stratus faction, went for the cover, and Alicia was supposed to break up the pin. However, Alicia was slow. The referee went 1, 2, and then stopped. So he did not count 3. He just stopped at 2.5 for like a split second, and then Alicia finally stopped the pinfall attempt. So yeah, that was probably the most awkward moment of the match. And then we had Lita hit a double moonsault on both Alicia and Mickey, and then Trish hit the chick kick to Mickey to pick up the win. The Legends prevailed, as I think we all pretty much expected. To me, this was the most predictable match, especially once it was announced that Alexa wasn't going to be in it. It was fine. It was what it was, but I mean, it was nothing all that special other than the novelty of getting to see Trish and Lita do their thing again. So next up, we had the Women's Battle Royal, and it was cool because everybody got their entrance, which was nice. All the women got their chance to come out and get their spotlight for at least 15 seconds, 20 seconds, whatever. Iconics came out. They cut their promo. They were ripping into Long Island. They did their usual spiel. And then, of course, they got in the ring. They were cocky. They were arrogant. And the rest of the group proceeded to throw them out. I do want to say I'm disappointed that you had Alundra Blaze in this match, yet I don't think she did anything. Like, if she did do any spots in this match, I missed it. I don't even know when she got eliminated. I mean, she was just an afterthought in this match, and you would think if you're going to bring her back, you would at least do one moment with her where she could stand out. Tony Braden says she probably couldn't do much, to be honest. And Dylan Folk says, I forgot she was even in the match. Chase said she did nothing. I guess she did beat the crap out of Tamina, though. We had Sonya and Mandy Rose working together as a team. Okay, so here was stupid booking. Okay, in the storyline, okay, Mandy and Sonya are working together. So naturally, the idea would be the two of them work together, get everybody out of there, and then you have the two of them fight it out, and one of them could even screw the other at the end. That's what intelligent people would do. But Sonya was betrayed by Mandy like 2 minutes into the match. They worked together, and then Mandy decided to eliminate her friend. This was stupid. Why would she do this? Why would they not just work together? If you're going to do a betrayal, do it at the very end of the match. Dummy. But I guess because she is a heel, whatever. No honor amongst thieves. But yeah, it just makes her look like a complete idiot. I would not have booked it this way. Nia Jax and Tamina had their little confrontation, and then they went to town on everybody. They eliminated Lana. Lana was, for some reason, also being an idiot, slapping. First, I think she was trying to be their friend, and then she slapped Tamina. Why is Lana so stupid? And she's a babyface now, too. So this made no sense to me whatsoever. Some of the spots in this match, I mean, I don't understand the logic behind it. They all did their big giant suplex spot for the easy pop, but the thing I don't like about this is that it's just so over choreographed. Everybody's getting there right in position, and they do their big spot. It just looks fake, and I don't like that. So it doesn't work for me. I know for a lot of people it's a nice cheap pop, whatever, but it just looks so overly staged and choreographed, and it takes them all a while. And Garrett Mills is like, stop bitching about insignificant things. But Chase does agree with me, though. Curtis Butler says it's a free-for-all. There's no thought on this. Like, why are all the women getting together for that spot? Shouldn't one of them just kick back and say, hey, you all do your stupid, flashy suplex maneuver with everybody, and I'm going to sit back and just chill? Like, nobody has that thought process. They're all like, oh, we're all going to get in the middle and, you know, choreograph this big spot. Like, logically, it doesn't make any sense. So, yeah, I didn't like it. And yeah, I'm complaining, but guess what? I feel I'm giving a fair, biased review here. Overall, I enjoyed the show, so this is my criticism. Daryl Lloyd with a $7 Super Chat donation. Ember should have won instead of The Rock's mother and nieces. Okay, so I also had a problem with this too. And let me, I'll get back to the whole finish of this here in a second. We had Carmella doing a dance break, and Ivory actually joined her. I gotta say, Ivory looks great for her age. I mean, she looks amazing. So hats off to Ivory. Whatever she's doing, it's working. But yeah, Carmella doing the dance break in the middle of the match for a future women's championship opportunity doesn't really make sense. But then again, you know, this is what they do in the Royal Rumble matches. They have the little comedy spots. Whatever. I mean, it pretty much means Carmella's done as far as being a serious character goes. I mean, it's one thing like, okay, so like in 2000 when Too Cool would come out and do it, they're not really top guys. They're comedy acts, they're mid-carders, but Carmella was the former women's champion just a couple months ago. So why is her character doing this? If you're going to have the opening match girl come out and do it, then yeah, I guess that makes a little bit more sense. But it basically just means Carmella's done. You know, her run as champion was over. She got her turn, and now WWE's moving on to something else. And perhaps it is a better fit for her, as Noah Foster points out. And Curtis Butler is really a big fan of Ivory. Really big fan, if you know what I mean. So Carmella and Ember, they were doing some kind of sequence where it was like, I don't even know what it was. And neither did Michael Cole. He just described it as, quote, rather unique. Whatever it was, it looked really bad. There was an NXT chant when Asuka and Ember had their big confrontation. But then, to my surprise, well, maybe I shouldn't be surprised at this point, Asuka got eliminated by Ember. So there you go. Asuka did not win the Battle Royal as I was predicting. And Asuka, at this point, is also not able to be taken seriously. This should have been her match to win. And if not her, then it should have been Ember. But anyways, Ember was on fire. She did eliminate Asuka. She hit the Eclipse on Tamina, threw out Tamina, and then it was down to Ember and Nia Jax. Zelina Vega came out and attempted to eliminate Nia. She had not been eliminated from the match. But Nia fought back and Nia eliminated Vega. And then we had Ember attempt to clothesline Nia, but then got planted instead. Nia tossed over Ember, won the Battle Royal. Meh. I mean, Nia Jax, yeah, she should have been booked as a monster. If you had done this way differently, played the cards correctly, Nia could have been a credible opponent for Ronda Rousey. But we already saw the match. We already remember Nia crying on television 6 months ago, tapping out to submission moves. So how am I supposed to take her seriously? I mean, I feel like Asuka was more salvageable than Nia at this point. So yeah, not really looking forward to Nia back in the women's title picture. I think Asuka or Ember would have been much better choices. Overall, I thought the Battle Royal was kind of meh. So let's move on here to the next match. Toni Storm versus Io Shirai. I think that's how her name is pronounced, but I might be botching it all night. Who knows? So this was the final match of the 2018 Mae Young Classic. We had Jessica Carr out there as the referee. She actually refereed twice, I believe, on the show, which was cool. This was a good match. From what I've been told, it wasn't the best match of the Mae Young Classic. From my understanding, the semifinal matches were better from people that I've talked to. And they thought that this match was too short. And it did feel a little bit short, considering it was supposed to be the finals of this big tournament. And Steve Herman agrees with that. And actually quite a few people here in the chat room agree. I think Toni Storm has a lot of potential. She's got a great look to her. I definitely see her as being a major star. Her finisher is the Zero Storm, or Storm Zero, I think. I might have screwed that up. And that's how she picked up the win in this match. They had a big celebration afterwards with Triple H and Stephanie. This was Stephanie's only appearance on the show, thankfully. They did their thing with the flowers and nice post-match celebration. It was fine. I thought it was a good match. And I do think Toni Storm is going to be a big star. I definitely see the potential in her. Good stuff. Next up, we had the 6-woman match. Sasha, Bayley, and Natalya versus the Riot Squad. I actually thought that this was a pretty good match. I did think it was solid. However, I felt like I really didn't care all that much because this was one of those matches that was just thrown together with no real thought process, and Riot Squad haven't exactly been on a great winning streak as far as these 6-woman tag team matches go. I thought it was good, though. I thought the work was really solid. Sasha and Bayley were working really well together despite their big feud, but I guess that's over and done with now. There was even a point where Bayley actually sacrificed herself, put herself over Sasha, and then Ruby hit her big, I think it was a senton, and Bayley basically took the bump. So I thought that was interesting. I don't know what this means. I'm assuming that whole storyline is completely done, and Sasha and Bayley are going to be competing for the tag team titles, which appears to be happening. I'm actually surprised there was no announcement about that on this show whatsoever, despite all the rumors, despite the fact that apparently WWE has been handing out "We Want Women's Tag Team title" signs at live events. And Ma Wrestling says, watch, the rematch is tomorrow on Raw. Oh, don't say that. Please don't say that. Base Dash Ketchum says no mention of the female tag team titles. But anyways, the baby faces won. Sasha did the Eddie Guerrero frog splash on Liv Morgan to pick up the victory. And I did think it was a good match overall. Let's move on here to the next one, which is Kairi Sane versus Shayna Baszler for the NXT Women's Championship. This was the first NXT Women's title match to take place on the main roster. Again, Jessica Carr was the referee. This was the match where Michael Cole did the botch by saying that both men were down at one point. So yeah, Michael Cole, you gotta get with the times here, buddy. But you know what? He spent 20 years calling men's matches, so, you know, that kind of stuff is bound to happen. At least it was the only time, I think. And thank you to everyone watching live. We have 450 live viewers right now, which is awesome. So thank you guys so much for that. I really do appreciate it. Similar type of match to their other one, where Kairi was getting dominated for much of it, and Shayna would go after her arm, after her hand, work over all the body parts. Kairi did make her big comeback, and then there was a moment where Shayna got thrown into the crowd by Kairi, and that's when all hell broke loose. That's when the MMA horsewomen, and I don't know their names off the top of my head, but they're Ronda's friends, and they've been shown before. They recently signed developmental deals. They interfered, and that's when Shayna was able to get her submission. Again, I don't know the name of it, some type of clutch, similar to Samoa Joe, but there's a different name for it, and I'm guessing it's slightly different. I really don't know the major differences, but it's a similar type of submission hold, and Kairi, instead of tapping out, and I like this, instead of tapping out, she passed out from the move, and Shayna regained the NXT Women's title. I'm a little surprised about this, I have to say. Paul Jackson with a $2 Super Chat donation. Heel Sasha and Bayley versus Trish and Lita at Survivor Series. That would be interesting, but I don't think we're going to be seeing any more heel turns anytime soon. Noah Foster says it's called the Karafuda Clutch. Thank you for that, Noah. Appreciate it. Jeff Larson says the referee not seeing the interfering was just plain stupid. And Shayna is also the first two-time NXT Women's Champion. I'm a little interested that Shayna regained the title, especially now that this horsewomen storyline is starting to kick into high gear. Is she going to be staying in NXT for a while now, or is she going to be on the main roster? I'm definitely intrigued by that. Next up, we had the SmackDown Women's Championship match, which is Becky Lynch versus Charlotte. Last woman standing. This match was awesome. This was, in my opinion, probably the best main roster women's match in WWE history. It was fantastic, and they went all out for this. This is the kind of match you would expect to settle a grudge. I mean, this was just a fantastic grudge match where two people despise each other and they're beating the crap out of each other, and it's just all these different things you're seeing. They used everything that wasn't nailed down. You had the tables, you had the chairs, you had the ladders, you had them brawling in the crowd. I mean, for a last person standing match, this was really well done. So I think some of you might have noticed this. During the video package to recap the match for the cutting edge, Edge and Becky Lynch, it sounded to me like they piped in boos for Becky. I don't know if this is just my imagination, but it seems like I'm not the only person that noticed this. Anyways, when Becky came out, did not work if it was intentional. Becky came out and got heavily cheered. Crowd booed Charlotte. They chanted for Becky. They were even humming her song. Okay, so here's one thing I don't understand. If Becky's a heel now and you want her booed, why does she still have the babyface music? The first thing you do is you change the music if you don't want her getting cheered. So that to me is really confusing. The music is just going to get people to naturally cheer for her. So yeah, I don't understand that at all, but whatever. Like I said, they used the kendo sticks. Charlotte was throwing chairs into the ring, and that led to an ECW chant from the fans. Becky would beat the crap out of Charlotte with the chairs. The crowd was chanting, "You deserve it" at Charlotte. So clearly, they were rooting for Becky to win this. They set up like this big pile of chairs in the ring, and Charlotte would slam Becky into the chairs. Becky would do the Uranagi, aka the rock bottom, to Charlotte through the pile of chairs. Charlotte set up Becky on a table. She went for the moonsault, but in a botchamania moment, the table did not break. She went up again and was like, damn it, I'm going to break this table. So it kind of reminded me of Sabu not being able to break the table. Charlotte went back up. She did a swanton bomb, and that time she did successfully break the table. And then there was another cool moment where Charlotte used the ladder to put on the figure 8. Becky, of course, immediately tapped out, but no tap outs in a last woman standing match. Becky was able to grab a chair and get herself out of that predicament. Becky then tried to escape with the title, but Charlotte caught up to her. And then they got back to the ringside area. They brawled in the crowd for a while. And then Becky climbed up the ladder. She had Charlotte laid out on the table. She did a leg drop off the ladder onto Charlotte through the announce table. Big holy crap moment on the show. And then we had Charlotte beat the count. Becky was getting frustrated. She threw a bunch of chairs onto Charlotte, just dumped all the chairs, the pieces of table, all that stuff on top of Charlotte. But then Charlotte still got up at the count of 9, and Becky was just totally freaking out. Charlotte rushed at her, made a comeback. Charlotte then laid Becky on another table on the other side of the ring. She went for the moonsault, but Becky was able to get up in time, and she actually powerbombed Charlotte all the way down through the table, and Charlotte was unable to make the 10 count. Thus, Becky Lynch retains the SmackDown Live Women's Championship. Fans gave the match a standing ovation. I thought it was excellent. If you did not watch the show, this is definitely the match to watch on this show. Definitely stole the show. And like I said, probably the best main roster women's match in the history of the company. Better than the Sasha Charlotte matches. Better than pretty much any match I can think of off the top of my head. So I thought that this one was great. It seems most of you agree with me that it should have ended the show. Yeah, I felt bad for Ronda and Nikki because there's pretty much no way that they can top this one. I mean, they were pretty much stuck here, but I'll give them credit. So it was a good match, the main event. Ronda Rousey, Nikki Bella. Bella's came out with Brie, and she was waving around the Bellalution flag. Big G with a $2 super chat donation says, my thoughts this week on Virtue's Rage. So there you go. Check out NoDQ.com/Big G, and you can find out more on that, or head over to NoDQ.com/Virtue. But yeah, they had this flag, the Bellalution flag. Ronda, of course, was on offense right out of the gate, but then Brie started interfering. The basic storyline of the match was Brie was the difference maker. Ronda might have been able to easily put away Nikki, but because Brie was there, it was a bit of a challenge, and Nikki was able to gain some control and actually got some offense on Ronda for a bit. The crowd was into Nikki. The crowd was into both of them. They were the dueling "Let's go Ronda, let's go Nikki" chants. I do feel like this was more of a female crowd than usual. I think it, I don't know for sure, but I think based on what people have told me, it was something like 40% women in the crowd, like way more than usual. But that's at least what I've heard from people that were there. It did sound like it based off of the crowd reactions. I mean, a lot of the old divas, you could hear those loud female pops when they came out. Ronda went for a big crossbody off the top but missed. And then that's when Nikki got some more offense in. She actually hit that springboard kick and got a near fall. Then Brie tried to interfere, got on the apron. Ronda ended up picking both of them up and slamming them at the same time. However, that was not the end of Brie. Brie tried again later to interfere, and then she was thrown onto the table. Nikki hit an Alabama slam, got another near fall. Nikki then hit the Rack Attack 2.0, which Rousey still kicked out of. And then we had Ronda make her comeback, got the armbar on, and Nikki immediately tapped out, and that was that. I am a little surprised we did not get the attempt, at least, of a screw job where Brie would come in from under the ring and swap with Nikki and pin Ronda Rousey. Everybody freaks out, and then the referee says, "No, that's not Nikki." I'm surprised they didn't do that. It would have made for a good dramatic moment, just to tease a title change like that, just to piss everybody off. But we didn't get any of that. No surprises. So I was a little bit disappointed with that. I was hoping there would be a little bit more drama here to make fans think maybe Rousey's going to lose the title. But yeah, it was pretty straightforward. You really knew there wasn't going to be a title change. But the match itself I thought was fine. I thought Nikki held her own and Ronda looked good. I thought they delivered a solid main event. However, there was no way that they could really follow that match with Charlotte and Becky. After the match, Rousey celebrated with her husband, her family. She went up to the top of the stage, and the whole locker room came out, and they did a big celebration. Nice way to end the pay-per-view. So overall, I enjoyed the show. I thought it was well done, and I think it lived up to the hype, even though for some people there wasn't a lot of hype. But I think they proved a lot of doubters wrong, and they really pulled through with a good show. However, I don't think it was perfect. I think the Women's Battle Royal was a bit of a mess, and there were some botches in the opening match, and I thought maybe the Mae Young Classic match was a bit too short. So there were some issues I had with some of the undercard. The main event matches, in particular, Becky Lynch and Charlotte, definitely were worthy of being on this show. So I'm going to give it a B. I'm going to give it a solid B. Definitely not an A, but I think because of the strength of Becky Lynch and Charlotte in particular, I would say it was a B show. And that match was an A in my opinion. And of course, I understand Rousey and Nikki being in the main event because it's Ronda Rousey after all. But yeah, I mean, really, I think it should have been Becky Lynch and Charlotte closing the show. I don't know. Hey, shout out to Ringside News in the chat room. So yeah, that's my thoughts on WWE Evolution. Looks like you guys enjoyed it for the most part. I'm seeing a lot of B's in the chat room, even a few A's. And Unsolved 22 says, should WWE do monthly all women's pay-per-views? I don't know about that. I think that is pushing it a bit. There's just too many pay-per-views, but I would like to see, okay, how about this? We get rid of one of the themed pay-per-views and just do a women's pay-per-view. If they do this once a year, I'm totally cool with it. Stephen Osborne with a $2 super chat donation. No Brie mode, B+. Well, it gets a B because there was no Brie mode. I mean, I definitely took that into consideration, and no Stephanie music. So, yeah, I give it a solid B. All right, guys, so I will go ahead and wrap up this edition of NoDQ Live. Thank you all so much for watching, tuning in, supporting the website. Head over to NoDQ.com for the very latest wrestling news and rumors. Make sure you follow everybody on hashtag Team NoDQ. They're all great people. And congratulations again to Big G for winning this pay-per-view and beating everybody on Team NoDQ. Good job, my friend. I will be back tomorrow night. Jason, I don't think is going to be here. I think he's feeling a little bit under the weather. He barely made it tonight. So tomorrow we might have to see a little change of pace with that. Hold on a second. Don't leave yet. This guy with a $2 super chat donation. I'm still watching. I started late. Well, thank you for the super chat donation, but if you want me to keep going, you got to throw a question at me. So thank you, this guy. But on that note, I will go ahead and wrap up this edition. Hold on. Marcus the God with a $2 super chat donation. What's next for Becky? Great question. To me, that was the blow-off. Should be the blow-off. How do you follow that match? You don't. That's the end of the feud. I think Charlotte maybe should take a little bit of time off TV. And I think the more important question is, what's next for Charlotte? Tony Braden sent a $2 super chat donation, but he sent the same thing. What's next for Becky? So that's not going to help me go any further with this. But I think Becky, I think there's a better chance now it's going to be Becky against Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania than Rousey versus Charlotte. I feel like Becky's just got so much momentum right now. It's going to be her in that spot instead of Charlotte. So I think Becky's going to be champion for a while now. And this guy says, when is the next call-in? Right now I'm planning November 8th, which is NoDQ.com's 20-year anniversary, the 20th birthday of NoDQ.com. The site was launched November 8th, 1998. So 20 full years that I've been doing this now. So that's NoDQ's birthday, November 8th. I think that's going to be the next call-in video. So thank you for that question, and thank you for the super chat. I have more super chats here, so we're going into overtime, everybody. So don't leave yet. We still have 370 people watching live, so let's keep going here. Axel, excuse me, with a $10 super chat donation. Do you think that we will get Alexa and Trish at WrestleMania? Possibly. I mean, I could see WWE potentially trying to make good on not delivering that match, which was originally advertised. So, yeah, I think not necessarily WrestleMania, but maybe Survivor Series or maybe another pay-per-view, we can finally see that match. Would not shock me if WWE does give us that match at some point, since they advertised it, but then they were not able to deliver because of Alexa being hurt. So, yeah, I think not WrestleMania, but at some point we'll see it. And Based Ash Ketchum with a $5 super chat donation. He says, shout out to women's wrestling. NoDQ is awesome. Let's go Red Sox. Well, my mom's going to be very disappointed with that Red Sox comment, so good job, Based Ash Ketchum. And thank you for saying NoDQ is awesome, though. I really do appreciate that. Let's see here. All right, Stephen Osborne with a $2 super chat donation to keep me going here. What about Becky versus Flair at TLC in a TLC match? Well, is it... Okay, so Chase just said it perfectly. Isn't that basically what they just did? I mean, it was a last woman standing match, but they did everything in that match. They had the tables, they had the ladders, they had the chairs. So how do you really follow that up? You just had the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, so I think that's the blow-off. That match felt like a blow-off. If they just come back and do a regular match right now, I mean, that's ass backwards. I'm not a fan. That should be the end of it. And I'm completely indifferent to baseball, so I feel bad for my mom. My mom wants to see the Dodgers win, but yeah. All right, so that's all I got here. I don't really want to talk about baseball, so I will go ahead and finally wrap up this edition of NoDQ Live. I will be back tomorrow night. We'll see who's in the background tomorrow night. We got Raw, SmackDown, and tomorrow morning we should have the female panel. Hold on, don't leave yet. Peter with a $5 Super Chat donation. He says, I'm thinking Charlotte wins the Royal Rumble and faces Ronda at WrestleMania. Becky will be the champion through WrestleMania. That is quite possible. It's quite possible that WWE still goes through with Charlotte versus Ronda. They could have a scenario where Charlotte wins the Rumble and goes over to Raw. And that might be good anyway, just to separate Charlotte and Becky. She goes over to Raw and challenges Ronda Rousey. And Becky can maybe face, I would say Asuka, but WWE just completely ruined Asuka. So, I don't know. I don't know who would be a really good opponent for Becky right now. At least on SmackDown. I mean, on Raw, maybe somebody like Ember Moon. Who knows? Marcus the God with a $5 Super Chat donation. Thank you for that, Marcus. Much appreciated. He says, how would you introduce tag titles and who should win them? I thought they were going to do an announcement tonight. I thought for sure Stephanie was going to come out and get on the mic and do her thing to get herself in the spotlight. Did not happen. I would have announced it tonight. Not necessarily have Stephanie announce it, but I would have said something on this show. I think they're obviously going to do a tournament. I mean, that's what I would do. A tournament is the obvious thing to establish the tag team titles. Kayfabe Candy Ass says one more to go for the Red Sox. Yeah, mercifully, it's almost over. But yeah, anyways, I would suspect there's going to be a tournament. And as far as who wins the tournament, I could see maybe Trish and Lita potentially winning the titles. Maybe even the Bella Twins. I mean, I would think the Bella Twins are going to be in it. And they could be serious contenders. And maybe they will win it at some point before they retire, so the Bellas can say they were tag team champions together. I suspect the Bellas will be in it, Trish and Lita, probably Sasha and Bayley, which is why they're not feuding right now. Iconics, Riot Squad. They'll do like 8 teams or something to crown the first women's tag team titles. And we're not done yet. Tony Braden with a $2 Super Chat donation. Will we get a bunch of thrown together tag teams? Well, I just said 8. And I don't really think you can do more than 8 because you don't have that many women to... It would just be overkill. I think 8 is a good number. And shout out to Bradley for just tuning in. You're a bit late, but I have a few more Super Chats here, so I guess I'm sticking around for a while. Tony with the $2 Super Chat donation and the broken, thrown together teams. Why am I saying broken? I must be thinking of the Matt Hardy special. He's sending these waves to my brain to try and promote their show. I have no idea. I don't think they're going to have too many random teams. I think it'll be pretty much the teams that are already teams right now. Noah Foster with a $5 Super Chat donation. By the way, thank you to Noah for making our predictions graph for hashtag Team NoDQ. Much appreciated, Noah. Do you see Team Ronda versus Team Bella at Survivor Series? Maybe. I mean, it could end up being... Oh, my mom's going to be sad. I guess the Red Sox won. My mom's going to call me all depressed. Oh, well. Yeah, I'm still on TJS. Were you guys watching baseball instead of watching NoDQ Live? Shame. Shame, shame, shame. The ladies have an excuse because they're actually recording a video, but for those of you that are watching baseball over this, shame on you. Daniel says watching both. TGS, you just made the list. He was watching that damn baseball game. Oh, okay, never mind. He claims he was watching Evolution. Sure. But, what was the last comment here? The last super chat. Oh, Team Ronda versus Team Bella. See, I don't think so because I feel... Oh, I actually do like TJS. He hates sports. So, cool. TJS, you're my best friend. I think the Bellas are probably going to be in that tag team tournament. So, I don't think we're going to see that match specifically. We could see something with the horsewomen develop over the next couple weeks. I don't know. Or we may just see Ronda Rousey versus Nia Jax again, which is yawn. And I hate to say it, but if that's the match at Survivor Series, that might be my bathroom break match. I do need one on that show. And I really have no interest in seeing Ronda versus Nia again. I really have none. Zero interest in seeing that match. Based Ash Ketchum with a $2 super chat donation. And he's not going to keep me on long here because of his comment, but thank you nonetheless. He says, Red Sox win, world champions, baby. So yeah, congratulations to the Red Sox for destroying the Dodgers. Dodgers won that one game that went, like 18 innings. So they barely squeaked out one win. They choke. They are definitely the masters of choking. They never win the big one. They're like the Samoa Joe of baseball teams. They're good, but when it comes to winning the big one, they often fail. So anyways, now I will finally wrap up this edition of NoDQ Live. Samoa Joe's injured, by the way, so that could explain why nothing's going on with him right now. Check out the Trivia Challenge, which is back. We're doing the big tournament. Going to be great. Lots of positive feedback for that. And of course, stay tuned to NoDQ.com for all the latest news and rumors. I will see you guys next time for another edition of NoDQ Live.